Welcome to the deep dive. You've probably had this experience. You're in a city where getting anywhere without a car just feels like you're taking your life into your own hands.
It's a death-defying act, yeah. And then you go somewhere else, like, say, Wageningen in the Netherlands, and suddenly cyclists are everywhere.
Exactly. It's like they're just part of the architecture. And that's really what we're digging into today, this massive global study that tried to figure out why. Is it culture? Is it the weather? Or is it something else entirely?
And this study, published in PNAS, it really brought the receipts. I'm talking about a huge data set. They used Google data to look at walking and cycling in, get this, 11,587 cities.
11,000.
In 121 countries. So the scale is just unprecedented, a real global snapshot. And yeah, the data did confirm it. Little Wageningen in the Netherlands is the world's top biking city.
Okay, so let's unpack this. We have this mountain of data from all over the world, different climates, different economies. So the mission is to find that magic recipe. What makes a city great for walking and cycling?
Well, it starts pretty much where you'd expect, but the data really puts a fine point on it, the infrastructure.
Right.
The number one finding is that cities with lots of walkers and cyclists are dense, they're mixed use, and crucially, they have dedicated, safe bike lanes. It's the foundation, the carrot, you could say.
The carrot. I like that. You build a safe path, and suddenly that trip to the grocery store doesn't feel like a crazy risk. I mean, the contrast the study draws between the U.S. and the Netherlands is it's jarring.
It really is. It shows you how much infrastructure drives behavior.
Yeah.
In the U.S., over the last decade, something like only 1% of all trips were on a bicycle.
Just 1%.
1%. Now compare that to the Netherlands, where it's 28%.
Wow.
28, so that's almost 3 out of every 10 journeys. It's a totally different world.
And a number like that, 1% versus 28, it just forces you to throw out all the old excuses that Americans are just hardwired to drive or we're lazy or everything's too far apart. This data says maybe not.
It absolutely pushes back on that. Adam Millard-Ball, he's the UCLA urban planner who led the study, he specifically said, this isn't some genetic predisposition the Dutch have for cycling.
Oh, right.
He was really clear. Infrastructure is the main thing.
But let me push on that a little, because this is where it gets tricky, right? You have decades of car culture. You have suburbs. Everything's built around the car. Can you really fix that just by painting a few bike lanes?
That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But Millard-Ball's argument is that people are fundamentally rational. If it were actually quicker and safer for Americans to walk or cycle to work or the store, they would. He said they'd do it just as much as anyone else.
So it's not about culture, it's about efficiency and safety.
At its core, yes. The decision is practical. You build the safe, efficient path, the carrot,
Yeah.
and people will use it. It's an engineered choice, not some cultural miracle.
Okay, so if that's the carrot, that brings us to the other half of the equation. What about the sticks?
Exactly. And that's something another researcher, John Pucher, talks about a lot. You need both. And the study found a really effective stick at the national level.
Which is?
Gas prices.
Of course.
When gas costs more, walking and cycling rates go up meaningfully. And this isn't just, the market going up and down. This is often about policy, things like carbon taxes that make driving more expensive.
That makes perfect sense. Suddenly, the bike lane looks a whole lot more efficient when the alternative is costing you a fortune. So it's a balance. Make cycling easy and safe and make driving a little less appealing.
That's the goal. And that sort of tackles the policy side. But what about the other big excuse we always hear? The physical barriers.
Yeah.
Our city can't be like Copenhagen. The weather is awful.
Right. It's too hot here. It's too cold. It rains all the time. Does the data actually back that up?
Almost not at all. This
Yeah.
is one of the most fascinating parts. The study looked at what doesn't stop people. And climate is definitely not a major barrier.
Really?
Yeah. We're talking about cities with freezing winters, scorching summers, places where it rains constantly. People still get out and bike if the infrastructure's there.
So people are willing to put on a coat, I guess?
They are. Pucher even pointed out that some of the best bike cities in the world, like in the Netherlands, are super windy and rainy. Safety trumps comfort. The only real physical barrier the study found was steep hills.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you can walk up a hill, but suckling up steep inclines every day, that can be a deterrent.
So the metaphor for cities is pretty clear then. Focus on the infrastructure, don't blame the weather. But, and this is important, we need to add a layer of nuance here. We've been talking about this as a choice, but for a huge number of people around the world, walking isn't a choice at all. It's a necessity.
That is a crucial point. And the research highlights this through people like Carol Turley-Voulgaris at Harvard. In a lot of low-income places, high walking rates are a sign of poverty, not successful urban planning.
Right. She mentioned Haiti, for example. People walk because they have to. Owning a car isn't even an option.
Hmm.
So if we just look at the numbers and say car-free is good, we might be, romanticizing real economic hardship.
Exactly. And it gets even more complicated. Vulgaris also points out that for some low-income families, getting a car can be a huge economic boost. It lets them access better jobs that are farther away.
So it's not as simple as cars bad, bikes good. I have to balance mobility and economic opportunity with health and the environment.
It has to be about providing choice, not just limiting it.
Okay, so keeping that crucial context in mind, let's go back to the cities where this is working well, where it is a choice. What were some of the big success stories the study pointed to?
They highlighted three really interesting examples that show different ways to get this right.
Let's hear them.
First, the one everyone knows, Copenhagen in Denmark.
The benchmark.
Totally. They're the gold standard. Their whole system is built on these dedicated, protected bike highways that completely separate bikes from cars. It's all about safety through separation. That's the ultimate carrot.
Total physical separation. Okay, what about the second one? Osaka, Japan. That feels different.
It is different. It's less about separation and more about coexistence. In Osaka, you have cars, bikes, and pedestrians all sharing these narrow, complex streets.
How does that work without being chaos?
The key is that the design of the streets forces cars to go slowly. The narrowness, the turns, it naturally calms traffic, so it feels safer even without a separate lane. It's sort of engineering the stick right into the streetscape.
That's clever. And the third one, Nairobi, Kenya. That one sounds like it's all about policy.
It really is. Nairobi is this incredible example of just pure government commitment. They officially dedicate at least 20% of their entire transportation budget just to non-motorized travel.
20%, that's a huge number.
It's a massive commitment. It sends a very clear signal that walking and cycling aren't an afterthought. They're a core priority.
So we've got the models for success. You can separate, you can integrate, you can dedicate the budget. So what's the big payoff? If every city on Earth suddenly got infrastructure like Copenhagen's, what would actually happen?
The numbers are pretty staggering. The study modeled it out. First, for the environment, global emissions from private cars would drop by 6%.
6% worldwide, just from this. That's a huge climate win.
It is. But the health and economic numbers are where it gets really mind-blowing. They calculated the annual health benefits would be $435 billion.
Wait, say that again?
$435 billion every year.
Where does that number even come from? What are we saving?
We're saving on healthcare costs for things like heart disease and diabetes, all the chronic illnesses that come from a sedentary life. When you build activity into people's daily commute, you don't need them to go to the gym. The city becomes the gym.
435 billion. That number just completely reframes the whole conversation. Suddenly, building a network of bike lanes doesn't look like an expense.
It looks like an incredibly profitable investment.
Yeah, like the world's best savings account.
That's really the core takeaway from all of this. The benefits are massive, they're quantifiable, and they are achievable pretty much anywhere. It's a policy challenge, not a cultural one. The human desire to get around safely and efficiently is universal.
So just to sum up the key points for everyone listening. First, infrastructure is king. It outweighs climate. It outweighs culture. Second, policy matters. You need the carrots and the sticks. And third, the payoff, both for our health and our wallets, is just astronomical. We're talking hundreds of billions of dollars a year.
And that really brings us to the final thought here, which comes right back to Nairobi's policy. They commit 20% of their budget. And it makes you wonder, if the global cost of not building this stuff is $435 billion in health problems every year, what's the proportional cost of inaction in your city?
That's a powerful caution. Look around your own neighborhood. Are you given a safe, quick, easy option to walk or bike? Or are you basically forced into a car? That's policy inaction right there. Or, I guess, policy failure.
Exactly. Just observe the barriers you face every day, that dangerous intersection, or that road with no sidewalk. That choice, or lack of choice, is what's driving all this global data.
A really compelling challenge to end on. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us.